Said he don't mean to criticize, he's just a passerby with young man's eyes. Said when he was my age, he looked just like me. Young man, don't you know it ain't where you've been, but where you aim to go with. Fly, fly, gonna say goodbye to the road that I've been traveling, to the load that I've been carrying. It's a new day, yes it is. Fly, fly, gonna say hello to the places that I'm gonna go. The great unknown and the open road. It's a new day, yes it is. I've loved, lost, laughed and cried, and through it all held my head high, 'cause these memories have made me who I am. I don't know what's on the other side of this mountain high that I'm about to climb, but those old man's words keep playing in my head. Young man, don't you know it ain't where you've been, but where you aim to go with. Fly, fly, gonna say goodbye to the road that I've been traveling, to the load that I've been carrying. It's a new day, yes it is. Fly, fly, gonna say hello to the places that I'm gonna go. The great unknown and the open road. It's a new day, a new day, a new day, yes it is. To the lives we leave behind.
Welcome to ANZ Combines Racing League's round 4 of the Porsche Carrera Cup. I'll be your host, Neil Haynes. Hope you stick around and enjoy the 2 races we have here tonight at Oulton Park Island layout. It's a 12 corner circuit, 3.6 kilometres in length of hard racing black tarmac. And the in-game date is the current date of the 23rd of July 2023. And we've got the guys out on track for their 20-minute practice session. We've got about 8 minutes or so remaining before we go into a 10-minute qualifying session. So here we go, the graph there of race 1. Obviously they're the standard 20-minute time race with the standing start. This time we start race 1 in the morning at 8 a.m. Most of the races we have had up until now have been the afternoon race for race 1. And the weather is heavy cloud, no chance of rain by the looks of things. And obviously race 2, we have a lunchtime race at 12 p.m. with heavy cloud to clear skies. So that should be an interesting race there. Race 2 with the temperature change may happen on track. As always, no mandatory pit stop is required, and there is no refueling allowed during the race. So the car's got to make sure they've got enough fuel in those fuel tanks before they hit the track for the race. Pit speed limit is 50 kilometres an hour, and we've got the 3 track limits. So that's obviously going to be something that the drivers will have to be aware of during the races, as we've got in our outer sector 2 that chicane, and there's a few other sections where the cars may cut a little bit of track, especially out of the final corner at Lodge Corner, before they come down the hill and then up the hill, up over the start finish straight. Now let's have a quick look now at the overall standings after we've reached the halfway mark of this championship, and it's Gunway at 180 in front. And it looks like the field are slowly trying to reel him in, as he had a little bit of a topsy-turvy round after having the first 4 races a clean skin, and had a bit of a rough and tumble race in the final race there at Donington last week with the 7th position. So Dado Racer has closed it within 30 points, 20 points for a win, and points only down to 12. So anything can happen in any of these races, especially here at Oulton Park and the next round at Snetterton. We know how tricky that circuit can be. Highlander in third position with a solid first position. His first win here at ANZCRL on AMS2. We've seen him plenty of times on the top step back on the day with the Xbox on Project Cars 2. And then it's Cuckoo, the first of the AM drivers, up in fourth position, showing up some of the pro drivers, but I don't know how long that's going to last with a fast Zach 18. Obviously coming home in for a very strong last half of the season. He's really zoning himself in. We can see that. And Slide Science is another driver that's had a little bit of unlucky stages in some of his races. He's got the pace, so I'm sure we will see Slide Science start to pick up. We've got Ashley Kutchi in ninth position, who's the second of the AM driver. So that's the overall standings. But if we move on now to the class standings, we'll see a whole lot different story here. Gunner still out in front in the pro division with Dado Racer in second and Highlander in third, not too far away. Still a 30-point margin though between first and second in the pro division. And with Scar up into fourth position, who is obviously in a bit of in front of Zach 18 overall there, as he has got some couple of second positions there, especially at Cascavel where he had an outstanding round there. And in the M division, it's Cuckoo who's still out in front, but Ashley Kutchi is slowly coming into contention in second position, as is Wadey. And let's not forget about Zachy 3 as well, and has Hans Capablanca, obviously a big bonus he had with Longy filling in for him, jumping him up from 12th all the way up to 5th with those two first place victories at Donington. So obviously he'll be benefiting from that, but I would imagine that you'd see the rest of the field on form normally should start climbing and bridging that gap, and you will see Hans Capablanca maybe drop a few positions back down by the season end, maybe down into around that top 9 or 10. So we'll see how good he can go, and we wish him all the luck to try and slow that drop down the order, as we've obviously got a very fast Timmy and Commander Jim. And Caleb Reed's kid didn't have a very healthy last round at Donington, but as you can see those results there, he's been a really strong mid-pack racer in the AM division. But now it's time, let's get into the live coverage where the cars are out on track. And we're just having a look at that fast man of Timmy 82 at this stage in 10th position in the AM division class. 2 minutes remaining of practice. We're going to have qualifying after this, a 10-minute session. And it's a 4 p.m. practice session with clear weather, the clear skies there, you know, clouds that's in sight. And this is sort of based on, say for example, for this round, it looks like it's really based on a Saturday type qualifying and Sunday race day, where we're going to have them out early at 8 a.m. and then a 12 p.m. race. Up front at the moment with a 121.560 Highlander, just in front of Detective 209, who we've seen. Obviously he's in pit lane, but we've seen some good pace from him. He's usually up close with the pole position, as is this man Waylon, who's in the pits. So we'll hopefully see Waylon obviously taking a victory back in Donington in the first race. After what a race that was, actually. He had the lead all race for the whole part of the race in that first race. Lost it on the came wide, I think, out of turn 3, 4 or 5 of the last lap, where Gunner then got the position, and then only to find then Gunner run wide into the final corner at Donington, and Waylon was able to duck down the inside. They actually both ran wide, but Waylon just was able to hold that inside and come home for a well-deserved victory. But Christopher Razor was also on form in at Donington with a 3rd and a 4th in class, so found himself on the podium in race 1. We've got a couple of substitute drivers tonight. We got this man Branny, he's subbing in for Pillick. We normally see Pillick in this WorldBet 87 car, so we'll see how he goes. And then the next driver that we had was Pixel Boy. So I'm just trying to find where he may be on the leaderboard. Maybe he's been disconnected, or I'm just not looking properly. But anyway, so Pixel Boy is subbing in for Baron B. He was here earlier as Zach 18. He'd like to have a big shout out to Kaz as his #1 supporter. We saw Kaz cheering on this man here at Donington last week. So thanks, Kaz, for tuning in and supporting this man, Zach 18. Is obviously going pretty good in this Scott Taylor Motorsport car. Didn't have the best race 1 at Donington, but race 2, he definitely showed what he is all about. And finished 6th in the actual pro division as he's coming into pit lane. And there we go. So Highlander again on top. Gunner, the man here in 4th. He knows that he's got to keep himself on the pointy end and keep himself sharp, because he knows that a lot of the drivers, as a normal thing, they start to pick the pace up as the season goes on. And it just looks like Pixel Boy hasn't been able to be in this. He was in earlier, but I'd say that he's been disconnected, but hopefully he might come back in here in qualifying. So here we go, 10 minutes qualifying. So we have seen how when the boys can really, and here we go, Pixel Boy is in now. So that's good that he's been able to join. But what I was getting at, we can see how qualifying is going to be very important, especially around this circuit. It's a very tricky track to overtake. Even in the long version, this is probably the second. They've got 3 different versions. They've got the Foster's layout, where they would actually just here, they'll go straight ahead instead of turning around here at the left hand corner. This is the island layout, which you see a lot of I think the British touring cars use this layout, and a lot of other type smaller category cars use a lot of this layout, where they just take this hairpin before taking a long sweeper, which would normally be down to the left, and then into a very sort of fast sort of hairpin as one of the cars way up the top there having a big moment into the barrier. We've also got the wild card of Pete S as well. Now we did see these guys really trouble the pro drivers at Donington. We had Longy, who came in, as we said, for Capablanca and took out the 2 AM victories, but he came second, the highest we've seen an AM driver in an overall standings in race 2. He came second, with Pete S actually in 5th position. So they're pretty the highest positions. I think we had a 4th position from VGA Philly, who was a substitute driver back at Cascavel, and then before that we actually had Ashley Cucci come home 4th in the second race at round 1 at during a short in this competition's only Cup car, the 3.8 AM car. So the AM cars, the 3.8 Cup car, can compete against the 4.0 Cup car. Definitely in the right hands of drivers that can really get the most out of the car. Obviously down a little bit on horsepower compared to their 4.0 Cup cars. And we can identify the AM class, obviously, with these green banners. It was greatly made up by Scar 666. So a big thanks to Scar 666 here in the Objective car, one of the pro drivers, who spent a little of his spare time, which he doesn't have much of. Does a lot of mod work in 3.8. I mean in 3.8, in AMS2 and other types of games. So that was much appreciated. And all these pro cars have actually using the liveries found on Race Department for the Australian Carrera Cup series a few years back, so they all sort of bring a resemblance to some of the cars that are actually still racing around today in real life in Australia. Some of the liveries just a little bit different, as Scar takes it up into pole position with a 121.960. What a sensational lap. Now the track should start getting a little bit faster. The progression in the track was for medium rubber at the start, which was at practice, and then default progressing through the next two sessions, which is this qualifying and then race. So the track will grip up, and he's actually faster this time around. So let's go on board and just see what he can do. So in sector 1 he was up 0.1 of a second. Gunner's just gone in front, so he's 0.2, so he's got to try and pull out another 0.1 and 1.5 seconds, even more if he can. We know the pace he's going to start to heat up here as he's just getting through Wadey. Might have compromised just a little bit on exit. As you can see, yeah, 0.3 down, so he's lost out in that second sector. Now this is a section here where it's so easy to go off. And when you get challenged over a 20-minute race, this is where we're going to see a few dives down into the final corner as we're coming in here into Lodge Corner. If cars run wide coming out of Druids, they're definitely going to be trying to have a look down the inside here there at Lodge. And just under 5 minutes remaining, so this man here just pulling off to the side at the moment. He's obviously got the fastest time at the moment, but we'll just see Highlander. He's the man that was fastest in practice. Currently in 6th position. We had Timmy 82, one of the faster of the Pro-Am drivers, the amateur drivers. As Highlander's up by 0.4, nearly half a second up. He's just got to find something here in this final sector, get it all right, try and extend this track out as much, get that power on. He's hit that inside curb, so he's definitely pushing. As a look at this little roller coaster section, it's bumpy. Unstables the car, it's so hard, you just got to be careful of those bumps. Here he comes down through the deer leap and over the line. Where does he put him? Oh, he's lost some time in that final sector, so maybe hitting that curb just unsettled the car. Track limits out of turn 1 is a big telling point as well. It was just on the limit there. And we've got Zach 18 up into 6th position. Whalen puts it up on alongside of Gunner on the front row. There's a ghosting car there. And welcome Keza, and we have got Keza here, a big welcome. There's a shout out from Zach 18 he wanted to give to you, Keza, #1 crew chief. So it's great to see you here tuning back in for round 4 here at ANZCRL. Just watching Highlander, he's down in that sector 2, so he's just not finding he's fast in that first sector. So that's something that we'll keep an eye on. But let's have a look now at some of these AM drivers as they vying for a fast position. As Dado has just set a new fastest lap up into pole with a 121.633. The old Fox. Pete S, the wildcard entry in one of the 3.8 Cup cars, currently 10th position. He would be the highest of the 3.8 Cup car, but in the actual AM Championship, Akachi, the fastest of these AM cars. It's a busy little track Once all these cars get out on track, we've got 23 cars. And this is one thing they've got to be careful. That tyre bundle in there is actually bolted down into the ground. They don't want to hit that. That's a lot of damage in these tyre bundles on the inside apex. They've got to be a lot of respect there, especially when they start racing one another. And Kutchi's just trying to see if he can inch out a little bit more. This final sector, such a great circuit here at Oulton Park. The undulations, such a fun driving circuit. It's a very challenging circuit, as we've discussed about the limiting overtaking opportunities. It's more about putting pressure on those cars in front of you. And we welcome his Pixel Boy. So he's the driver, as we said, that's filling in for Baron B. Hopefully scoring some valuable points towards Baron's AM Championship. You see some pretty damaged cars out there at the moment. A lot of those are visual. It's cosmetic. As the drivers have a little bit of an incident out on track and they fast track back to the pits and don't actually sit and wait for the damage to be repaired. It'll show up on our screens as the last damage that they did get. But here we go, the pointy end. We've got Gunner. He's not going to get another lap, so this is the last time, and he's 0.2 up on Dado. So this is fast enough to put him on pole. If he could just get this final corner, actually it's not the final, it's the second last corner here at Druids. And look at, you can just see how these cars bounce here like a roller coaster, the dippy dips. And they go through. Can he get these braking? He's got it done well. Got the power on. I think we may see Gunner up here in the pole position. Yes, he does. He betters that time by 0.2 seconds faster than Dado Racer, who's in pit lane. So he hasn't got anything to respond. We don't know if Wayland's final sector is up. I think we just missed that. So we'll just keep on board here because he's still into it. And he would love to probably try and see if he can find even 0.1 of a second, bit over that, to get on the front row alongside Gunner. As here he comes over the strip. What does he got? Doesn't look like he's improved, so he stays there. Christopher Razor in pit lane. Let's have a look at Cuckoo. He's finished as well. Zach 18 in the Pro Division, up into the 10, so he'll be happy to be up in front of some of the AM drivers, but one driver that he'll be alongside with this man's Timmy 82. Who we just can't have the cameras with the tyres just in front of him. We just can't quite see. As Commander Jim has basically finished his time. And Pixel Boy didn't get any time in, so he's right at the back. It doesn't look like his connection's playing nice either at this stage. And in comes Commander Jim. So we're just looking to see the end of this session. It's just taken a time to carry on over. As the timer has run out, normally that will bring us up into the timing screen, but we'll just hopefully wait for these guys to finish their lap or get back into the pits so we can continue on with the next session. We've got Kempo trying to get there through the chicane, doing a good job. I think if everyone remembered from Donington Park when we welcomed Kempo into ANZCRL, he's got the little bit of a handicap where he's only got the use of one arm. And meaning to try and catch up to just get a little bit more information so I can bring out his challenges that he's experienced trying to get into the sim racing world, and it's great to see him giving it a good go. And and we wish him all the luck. And obviously, the more he does it, the more comfortable he will get, and the better everyone will be. So maybe we just need to wait for Pixel Boy to come into pit lane or something, because it's still going on. So we're going to be a little bit behind schedule, guys. So what's our predictions? There's the grid order that we've got. We've got Gunner on pole with Dado Racer going to be alongside him, with Waylon in third on the second row, and then Detective 209. So I'm not too sure what's going on here. We're on a little bit of a moment where it hasn't been able to click over. Everyone's in pit lane. So we may have a little problem with the lobby, guys, where we may have to just restart. And in that case there, we'll have to try and organise a manual grid, which is going to be pretty hard getting all these guys in order. So I'll just get a quick shot of that order. Bear with us, guys, as I can't continue on. I'll just put you on the home screen as we just have a little wait to see what's going on. Hey guys, what's going on? Is everybody still on that screen, on the waiting screen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm still
yeah,
we are.
Yeah, so
It's
no,
all a bit pear-shaped, Woody. Everyone's got a different view of what's happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Because I haven't got the continue on screen. So what we're going to have to do, I'll say we'll have to all jump out, and I'll have to just do our lobby, and we'll have to do our first lap of just organising ourselves onto the grid, and we might, I don't know, what's the go? Do we want to try and grid ourselves up manually for a manual start, or just have a rolling start?
A rolling start if we're going to keep the positions.
Yeah,
I reckon.
roll it.
Yeah, rolling.
Okay. All right, well, if we can get everyone out, because I've got no way to continue. No one's got a continue button before we do that at all on their screen?
No.
No.
Okay, well, if we just all exit out then, I'll exit out first, and so I've just
Remember your position though.
Yeah, remember your position.
Yeah, we're in position.
I took screenshots.
10.
Yeah,
Mine says I'm ninth, but I don't think that's correct.
Oh,
If I'm not
I'll
mistaken,
take ninth.
Christopher's
I'll take ninth.
got control of the lobby.
yeah, I've just got out of it all.
I'll pay for ninth.
No, I'm not. Unless I'm
I'll
going
pay for
eight,
eighth.
you can have nine.
They don't come cheap. I got a second.
Oh look,
So
qualifying
it
session's
just went
over.
over.
Oh.
The server just went over.
Oh, I just left the server, so.
No,
Hey,
mine-
can you guys come back in or not? It's come back with.
No, you can't join it. You can't rejoin at this point.
I noticed while Woody was talking there, Chris, you were the host for me.
Oh,
Yep,
really?
that's
I
exactly
didn't
what I
have a
thought as well.
continue button. I was checking, so.
How
For some
about
reason, it always fucking makes me like, even at
Only 8 of
GTL.
us,
If
7 of us.
everyone like, if Stu or Mac Attack gets booted for whatever reason, I become the host every time. It's like, I don't want this.
You're important.
Natural
No,
leader.
I don't want this.
Yeah,
maybe
natural leader.
that's why the game picks me. It's like he doesn't want it. That's perfect.
How about a random grid? That'd be good.
All right, we're in the queue. Thank you.
You're on the.
Okay, welcome back here to ANZCRL Combined Racing League for race 1. It's got a shorter race, only 16 and a half minutes remaining of this time race. We got disconnected in the lobby in the break from qualifying. So it's going to be a rolling start. We've got Gunner on pole position with Dado in second, Waylon in third, Detective beside him, Highlander on the fourth row with slide signs. And here we go. So Gunner is off he goes with this rolling start. Normally a standing start in his holding position, but look at Waylon down the inside. A little bump from Highlander, and Highlander's running out wide. He's going dropping positions here, trying to rejoin the track here, just behind Zach 18. Zach 18 is actually just a bit behind. He's in front of Highlander up there in 9th position, with Timmy jumping up into 8th position. But look at Waylon trying down into the hairpin, going down Lakeside. Now up over the hilltop, and then they go into Hislop's chicane. We appreciate everyone having the patience here as we had some technical difficulties early on, and it's Detective trying his best to upset Dado, but look at Waylon go, working the back of Gunner. Up over the hill here into Druids. This is a very tricky corner, as I said during qualifying. It's a double apex corner, and you just got to be careful you don't get it too wide. As we're on board Waylon in the N2C car. Oh, and they're fighting hard for this first position. And great opening lap by Gunner, so he's been able to benefit from that pole position. But look at them all filtering through. Slide signs really hard on the back of Detective. And just behind him, Scar 666. It's great seeing these cars. And here comes Waylon down the inside of the hairpin. Has he outbraked himself? Is he going to be able to pull up? No, he can't. Gunner's fighting back down the inside. So he tried for the move for the position for the lead of the race, Waylon, but he just outbraked himself. These tyres are going to be cold as well because of this slow formation lap that they had to do. So normally with a standing start in game, they would have hot tyres. Warm enough as two cars in the pit lane of Calabre's kids and Campo. Must have got caught up in an incident. So that's unfortunate, but look at this battle here from Dado Racer all the way to this man Slide Science. There's a little three-pronged battle for third position, but it's this man, Dado Racer. He's holding off at the moment in the Coco's restaurant car. He had a good result, coming home second in race 2 last week at Donington. But Detective 09 doing the best he can to try and hold off this challenge from Slide Science. I think Slide Science supporters would just like to see Slide get through the race without too many incidents. He's been caught up with a few. It's not been his doing. Got a few cars just jittering around a little bit, so hopefully the lobby is stable enough right through the field as Highlander, after his little bump in the first corner on the start of the races. We got Zach 8, I think we got one of the cars there off. I think it's Calabre's kid actually. On pause mode at the chicane. There's big moment there for, I think it might be actually Ashley Cucci that we saw there. So that's a big telling story. Ashley's lost the rear wing of his car as well, so he's had a massive incident. No safety car. Safety car is enabled in this race. So it's interesting that we're not seeing one. We've got Cuckoo leading Pete. Pete S obviously in the same Petros livery of the 65. He's the wild card entry. And doing a good job. He obviously just scores points in the overall championship Currently he sits 13th in that championship too. And the man just in front of him, Cuckoo, is the leading AM driver, all the way up in 4th position in the overall standings. They're doing a great job and doing a good job here tonight for round 4. As we've got our first retirement of the race of Ashley. We saw his car fairly damaged. But it's this battle with Detective, seeing if he can mount an attack on Dado, who's in front of him. The cars are sort of squirming around a little bit. I think this is more to do with maybe just the lobby connection at the moment. We're waiting for an update actually on AMS2, so could be a problem with a few things going on their side. Oh, it's a big move as we see down the inside from Slide Science into Lodge Corner. Did mention that that's going to be a corner where we're going to see some moves, but we're on board Detectives as he got down the inside. And here comes Detective looking to see if he can try and get himself, hold himself on the outside for the inside of Cascades. And here he is, he's having a good move down the inside. Nice clean move at the hairpin. As we've just seen another disconnect there from one of the drivers. This is a nice little helicopter cam shot that we have. Captain Awesome. Down there in 15th position. The tail really of the AM division was he's got a big gap before Zaki 3. He's obviously has a bit of problems. So race 1 here has not been kind to some of these drivers, but Capablanca, nice little run for him, up into 18th position. Lost a wing, so you'd expect him probably have to be in pit lane. His car would not be very fun to drive. We've got Brenny substituting in for Pillick just behind him in the World Bet car. And look at this battle now for up here. I think we've got a safety car. We've obviously got a safety car, so the safety car has come out. That's one graphic we would love. Please, AMS2, bring that out for broadcasters so we know. So the safety car has come out. Or virtual safety car, you could say. The car's not there, and that's one thing we will see in a future update is the actual physical safety car out on track. So Zach 3 has taken the opportunity. He's in the pits. And out he goes. And look at the Unicorn. That's one car we did see up in the barriers earlier on. So just see, we should see return to racing this time around. And this is really closing the field up now. This is not what Gunner wanted. It extended his lead to about a second. Hope you're enjoying us here on ANZCRL. Just a little bit behind schedule after we had to restart the lobby after the end of qualifying. And we had to take this race as a rolling start compared to our standing start. And we've got 8 minutes remaining of this race. They won't complete the laps that they would think that they were going to do, so they have more than enough fuel on board. As we had about a 4-minute formation lap to get these drivers. It was a big field of 23 cars. And here they go, so it'll be single file. And on this start, all drivers need to wait till they cross over the start-finish strip before they can overtake. As we've got a couple of cars there parked out on the hairpin. Kempo, that doesn't look good. So he's having a little bit of difficulties there, and so's the Unicorn. And he's going, so maybe they got together, but here we go. So race is on. And those guys just move in at the start of the flag, but here we go. Look at the cars coming on through here into turn 1 and all the AMs with the green banners. It's great to see that to make it nice and easy. There's Zach 18. See if he can benefit here. We've got Christopher just in front of him and Highlander, so he's right in the middle of the two Bob Jane T-Mark cars. As Highlander's putting that pressure around the outside, he's just got to be careful he doesn't leave the door open for Cuckoo, because Cuckoo will grab any opening that he can grab. See him such an aggressive, well not aggressive, but a very hard charger. But it's Dado Racer that's just holding this pack up a little bit. Wayland's happy there in second position. Not really troubling Gunner at this stage. This is the old fox of Dado Racer that really would like to see if he can hold on for another podium. We've got one more race remaining tonight. One of the two races. We'll have a quick 5-minute qualifying session. You want to stick around for that, guys, because the 5-minute qualifying, I tell you what, it really throws a cat amongst the pigeons, as I like to say. As look at them all come through. Isn't it a great shot as they come through the deer leap, as they like to call it? There's our Commander Jim. Following Wadey, who's back in this car. Had a good showing at Donington, actually. Did a good job. Finishing 12th and getting a point in the overall championship in race 1 at Donington. And overall it was a 6th position in the AM division. So a nice, at a 6th and a 7th actually in Donington in the AM class. So currently at this stage, I think he is showing as high as 3rd position actually. So he's trying to hold off Kamei. He's got the last spot on the podium as Pete S is not eligible for the AM division, as Timmy's just run a little bit wide out of the chicane. And it's Pete and they're coming together. They've got the lock. It's hard, these cars, they get magnetised, but well driven by these two. Timmy was great to handle that. I thought a minute there they were going to turn each other around. But Cuckoo's leading this AM race at this stage. He's just past these guys, and Timmy's in 2nd with Wadey in 3rd, his best position. Oh, good drive in there. There's Zach 18 still in this middle of this Bob Jane, but let's have a look at Christopher Razor as he's doing a lot of pressure on the back of Scar 666. Who, as we saw in the first opening few rounds, kept finishing in 6th position. He's in 6th again. So those are the Devil 666 numbers are really sticking to this man. Just under 4 minutes remaining. As you can see, the leader's just getting through Knickerbock through this chicane. Very quiet up in on the blimp as Scar's putting in his fastest sector 2 time of the race. As look at Zach 18 and Christopher in that background, absolutely going for it. As Wayland now starting to get onto the back of Gunner. That was his fastest lap too. He's 1 second faster. So here we go. On the chase to Gunner. Now we should see probably 2 more laps. I'll complete this one and then have 1 more to go. Actually, they'll probably have 2 more to go after this lap actually. The way that they're going. They're on board Wayland. He pulled that up nicely for a minute there. I thought he just ran a little bit too deep in the braking zone. just see the undulations of this circuit. This apex can be very hard to pick up sometimes through here. It's a sort of like a double apex through Druids. Here he goes. He's trying to have a look. His gunner's really defending that inside line coming into Lodge Corner. And while they're doing this, it's just slowing them down. It's giving Dado a little hope for maybe, just maybe, he might see himself have an opportunity to take out this race if something happens between these two. But it's definitely on. We've got 2 more laps remaining. But can Gunner hold on for the pressure that Wayland's put in on top here of Gunner? We've seen Wayland last round winner at Donington Park. Gunner's been able to just extend out of that hairpin as Christopher's dropped right down the order. Something's happened to Christopher. So that's promoted. I think, or Zach 18's dropped down, so there could have been a little bit of a problem between those two because they were close together with Highlander. So that brings Cuckoo now up into 8th position. None of the cars coming fast through this section of the circuit. The final lap. Here we go. What's Wayland got in store for Gunner? We know it's a tricky track to overtake, but we've seen Wayland just has the pace here late in this race. Has he timed this race to perfection? He chose to hang back a little bit on Gunner on the restart after the safety car. And here they comes. I've seen a few moves down at the hairpin. We did see him overshot as well. Looks like Gunner at the moment has got things under control. The lapped car in front is not going to be a problem to these cars. Dado's having a big slide coming out of the chicane, holding on for 3rd position. Here we go. Gunner's actually almost betters his fastest lap time of the race as well, so he's really put in a great final lap here, extending this lead from Wayland. It looks like he's going to have this done as Wayland's gone deep into the final corner. He's able to hold on to it. That could have been disaster there and skipped for Dado into 3rd. And Dado's just going to come over the line in front of Detective. So good race. Slide Science in 5th. Scar comes home in 6th position. Highlanders come home in 7th. The first of the AM cars. Cuckoo in 8th. Timmy will be 2nd. Oh, hang on. Big moment here between Timmy and Pete S at the line, and Timmy's in pit lane. They've come together, so that's going to move up. That's going to be an after race incident to be reviewed there. Zach 18 up into 10th position. Timmy's still in pit lane. I think that he's finished. Commander Jim, yes, he's finished in 11th position there, but he came together there with Petey. And Wadey's dropped down. Commander Jim got in front of Wadey in the end there. Zaki 3 come back there into 15th position. We've had 3 DNFs here. Branny done well for Pillock. And so has Pixel Boys done the same thing as well, helping out Baron B there in 17th position. Capablanca in 18th. So he'll be pretty happy to get a few valuable points there actually in the AM division. Would have finished around about maybe in the 9th, I think, in the AM. Hard to tell with a couple of the pro drivers in front of him, but there you go. So an interesting, we just caught the very end of an incident obviously between Timmy 82 and PDS, so which Timmy right into pit lane. So that won't go down too well with obviously with Timmy, but obviously after race we will check that, and maybe some positions may be redressed there. So there you go. So we'll have a short break while we get ourselves ready for Lobby 2. It won't be too long, as we want to try and keep back onto schedule if we can, as we're running a little bit behind. So stick with us, guys, and we'll be back very shortly.
Believe me when I tell you that you take away my pain. Your body's like sweet alcohol, your sex is my cocaine. Even when I'm searching up and down and I'm so low, I will never let you go. I don't wanna live, I don't wanna be any day without you in my life. We can conquer anything and all we do is try. I don't wanna live, I don't wanna be any day without you in my life. You are my amphetamine and I can't live without you in my veins. Don't think I have to tell you that I need you every day. Your taste I crave like oxygen, two hearts that beat the same. Even when I'm searching up and down and I'm so low, I will never let you go. I don't wanna live, I don't wanna be any day without you in my life. We can conquer anything and all we do is try. I don't wanna live, I don't wanna be any day without you in my life. You are my amphetamine and I can't live without you in my veins. Get into me, get into me. You are my amphetamine. Get into me, get into me. You are my amphetamine. Get into me, get into me. You are my amphetamine. Get into me, get into me. You are my amphetamine. You are my amphetamine. You are my amphetamine. Amphetamine, amphetamine. You are my amphetamine. I don't wanna live, I don't wanna be any day without you in my life. We can conquer anything and all we do is try. I don't wanna live, I don't wanna be any day without you in my life. You are my amphetamine and I can't live without you in my veins. You are my amphetamine. You are my amphetamine. Get into me, get into me. You are my amphetamine. Get into me, get into me. You are my amphetamine. Walked away, nose to the ground. I lace my boots 1 foot at a time. When this world tries to bring me down, well then the weekend rolls around, yeah. 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Show is 1 a.m. That's when the fun begins. I grab my bottle, push my way to the bar with your girl hanging on my arm, yeah. Not slowing down, we're gonna go all night, doing body shots off your wife. The night ends in a fight. Well, that's the way I live my life. 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I'll finish this shot and show you the truth. I don't look like much compared to him, but after a fifth of jam, your lady's looking good tonight. Shaking her ass, making me feel right. You don't stand a
Okay, welcome back to ANZCRL Combined Racing League after the break between race 1 and into now race 2 here at Oulton Park Island. So 5-minute quick qualifying session. It's going to be fairly intense indeed. And after Timmy 82's big accident into pit lane, he hasn't been able to make the grid for this time around. They've had to retire that car. So let's have a look. So we're looking at Zachy 3 at the moment. He finished in 15th, I think it was, in race 1. And these guys here obviously just trying to fight for a bit of track position as the pro drivers are trying to get through some of the AM class cars with the green banners on the windscreen. As Zachy now, Zach 18 has got slide signs in front, so there's probably a gap that he wants to try and manage if he can. We have got one of the other AM class cars just in front. As Campo's just running it off there. He's just got to be careful, doesn't damage his car too much, as he's only got 3 minutes to do these laps, so let's see how we go. So let's go on board here with slide signs. We know he can show some pace as he's got either Christopher or Highlander just in front of him in the Bob Jane car. There's Scars still in pit lane, so maybe he's had a little bit of an issue and he's going to move out. He's out now, blending out just in front of these guys, so he's probably going to find himself not in a bad position to try and get a lap in, good lap in. These guys should get 2 to 3 laps in. We're on the roof here of slide signs for a lap around Oulton Park. Coming through Cascades, it's a very fast sweeping left-hand corner. Hard braking here up into the lakeside hairpin. Lake is just to the left actually, but why they're braking for that corner amongst the trees, and up over the hilltop here, and then this first corner of the chicane they call is Hislops. As you can see where the track there comes in if they're using the Foster's layout, and then through the Knickerbrook. And that's a very tricky corner, Knickerbrook. You've got to be careful of those curbs, and here they come up through the Clay Hill. And this Druids corner. You saw slide signs actually make a very, very aggressive move for a position through there early in race 1 as they go over the bumps, the roller coaster run into the final corner of Lodge Corner. You can call this final one a little bit of a kink, a little bit of a corner too, but they're all full power. And where's this going to put him? Up into 3rd position and drops straight down as Gunner comes up. But this man, Zach 18, has put it on pole at the moment. Let's hear it for Kaz. Kaz will be crew chiefing for Zach 18 for this race, cheering him on. So this could be interesting. As he will get another lap in as well, Zach 18. So all these cars will have a chance. We saw the times for pole were 21, so he's got to find a little bit of more pace if he can, because the times will start to tumble. You would imagine guys like Slide Science, Gunner, even Detective 209, who's all the way down here in 11th position to jump up this order. Wayland all the way in 17th, coming into the hairpin. So this is going to be his final lap. He's not going to get another one. So let's just stay on Wayland and see where he's going to feature, as he's got a lot of cars in front of him coming through the chicane. This could upset his run. Got Capablanca just in front of him. Be hoping that he can get a clean run, but as well, these guys are trying to get their qualifying times in as well at the same time, so they don't have to yield, even though they're the AM class cars. The only time that you'd expect them to yield is if they've made a mistake, as Capablanca runs wide through Druids. So that's freed up Wayland, as qualifying is now over, so only those cars that are on their hot lap this time around be able to get a time in. So this will be Wayland's last lap. He won't get any more. So where does this put him? Third, second on the grid. So the man that we saw before, Zach 18, who had pole, that's going to be close to an invalidated lap. I'm not too sure how much of that exit they're allowed to use, as one of the Bob Jane cars is returning back. Oh, and that's over the curb. So that's cost Zach 18 plenty of times. The Slide Science, can he get himself on the front row? It's Gunner and Detective at the moment. He's a little bit up. He's got to find still a bit more. He'll be happy still on this second row of the grid, but he'd like to be on the inside in position 3 if he can, and that may have cost him time. Dado Racer, all the way in 10th. Final corner. What's he got for us? Gunner goes to a 21.4. And Dado goes up into second position. What a time he had. If it wasn't for Gunner's quick time, I think it was a 21.6, so Gunner would still have pole position, but what a time by Dado. Here comes Detective. Can he knock Dado off? No, he can't. So Dado's on the front row. And there we go. We've got our session returned back to normal, which is great. So Gunner on pole position with Dado beside him. We'll maybe go through the list when we get to the next part of the track, so we can just get our night finished in time. So let's go on into the race. So this man done it again on pole position. Be looking for 2 straight wins if he can, but this man, Dado Racer, finished third in the first race on the front row this time, so he's going to be happy, and we're going to have this standing start. So last race, obviously, with the difficulties we had in the lobby, we had to have a rolling start. So this time a standing start. Detective down the inside, he'd be happy there. Slide Science dropped down. He was actually in 4th position. So Wayland in the white, what is it? Sorry, I got a mental blank there. There's Wayland in the N2C racing car. Slide Science has dropped down onto the 4th, on the 3rd row alongside Highlander. These drivers have driven a lot together before on console on the Xbox and Project cars too. Christopher Razor in 7th. So we got the 2 Bob Jane T-Mark cars in 6 and 7. Zach 18 in 8th position. Then we got Scar on the 5th row alongside with Cuckoo, the first of the AM cars. And then Pete S, who got involved with that incident with Timmy S on the final corner. On the last lap, we've seen that put Timmy straight in a pit lane. And unfortunately, Timmy has not been able to make the grid for this race. Too much damage. Ashley Cucci in 12th. Zaki 3 and 13th. Captain Awesome. All the AM cars coming on through here in the back of the grid. Commander Jim. Pixel Boy in 16. Sub in there for Baron B. Wadey in 7th. Branny sub in for Pillick. And Capablanca in 19th. But here we go. We're about to hit the start. Gunner Lights are on. Oh, pardon me, sorry. Sneezing at the start line. You don't want to be a driver sneezing, waiting for those green lights, but it's gonna. And oh, there's been a big moment there between Waylon and Dado Racer. Dado's got through. This is going to be a safety car for sure. You'd think drivers are all over the shop there down on the line. Slide signs and Detective 209. Damage, so the luck for slide signs is just not there. It's just continued the bad luck. But we'll wait to see if these drivers slow down. At the moment it's race on. We haven't seen anything about a safety car at this stage, but Dado's going to be having a little bit of damage there. You can see all that damage. He got tagged up with Detective, and slide signs was a passenger, had nowhere to go. And Cuckoo's been able to jump up a few spots into 8th position in the AM as well, so good run by him, clearing out through that little bit of an incident. So we knew this track was going to be tricky, but we didn't know it was going to be right off the starting line as they all come bouncing on through. As Zachy 3 comes through, and Zach 18 benefited that. He's up into 5th position, up 3 positions, started in 8th. And he will be looking forward to maybe seeing himself have a possibility of getting Dado Racer, who's he can see. The man in front, let's just actually get on board with Zach 18 in the cockpit view, as Dado's actually fighting hard for Christopher, so the damage on Dado's may be a bit more cosmetic, not hindering his performance, but you think that somewhere along the line it's going to start causing Dado a little bit of a drama. He might be just fighting that car at this stage. So Zach 18's got a good chance to find himself maybe in the 4th position or maybe even a podium. He'll be really looking forward to seeing if he can jump into a podium. He hasn't seen a podium since Londrina. Oh, Cascavel actually got a 3rd position. He was on the podium in race 1 at Cascavel. So definitely a big possibility to see him on the podium here at the end of race 2. Let's have a look now to see Commander Jim finds himself 2nd in the AM division. He's just trailing Petey, who's the wildcard AM driver. And he's got a fired up Ashley Cucci, who we did see didn't finish race 1 due to a problem. Maybe an incident. I think it was a crash actually. And he'll be here trying to pick up pieces, trying to see if he can get himself on the podium. We've got some good camera angles of these cars coming down into the chicane. Just see how hilly this circuit is. There's the lake in the distance. This track runs right around a lake in the middle of the circuit. It's getting pretty feisty, I think, for 3rd position, is it? No, it's not. It's still got a little bit of a gap there. I thought it was a bit closer on our timesheets. Christopher having a good run in 3rd position. Be happy that he escaped. He actually started, I think it was in 7th position, so he was alongside Highlander on the inside, so he escaped that accident where it actually came down on the inside. So he did a really good job because he was actually on the right-hand side of the circuit on the starting grid. And that's where the accident happened. So he got himself through there and jumped up 4 positions up into 3rd. And see, Dado's just dropped back off the back of Christopher, so he will, I think, by the time this race is only 5 minutes into this race, I think Zach 18 needs to make sure that he can keep Highlander at bay behind him and try and get his eyes set on Dado for a 4th position, which would be a great result. Good turn of the tables, basically, as here we come. Some lap traffic has caused a little bit of a drama for Gunn. He's holding down the inside. Wayland taking the opportunity to try and see if he can make the most of some lap traffic. As Campo is into the pit lane. I'll bring up the map actually so we can actually see where some lap traffic is. So there's another one there, which are obviously slide signs. It was unfortunately got involved with that incident with Detective's been able to carry on, but I think slide signs has actually got a little bit more problem as Zach 18. Look at Highlander now under pressure from this man, Scar 666. And Cuckoo's holding onto the back of these pro drivers, as is Pete Air. So the two Petros cars, the blue and white AM television cars, are doing a great job in position 8 and 9 respectively. But it's this man, Scar 666, is on a little bit of a charge. That's what I said, that corner there, Druids, that inside curb can really unsettle these cars sometimes. Depending how stiff they've got the suspension set up. They'd probably have them a little bit softer to help with all these bumps on this circuit. As, Gunner's had a problem. So Gunner's had a bit of a moment out of turn 1, and that has... Where's Wayland gone? Wayland's all the way down into 12th, so there's been probably a go for a move there, and that's brought up Christopher Razor into position 1 with Dado Racer just giving him a little bit of a love tap out of the hairpin. So Dado Racer with a damaged car is really giving it to Christopher. Try and see if Dado can get his first victory in this Porsche Cup Series. It's obviously Gunner's going to have that pace. He's not too sure. There doesn't look like there's too much damage on the back of his car. It's just interesting to see what happened there between him and Wayland. Obviously, there will be stewards looking, and they'll be looking at the replay after this race. But Gunner was in the lead of the race. And that by all means, it doesn't look like there's any marks on his car. And there's definitely some marks on Wayland's car. Oh, big moment there. I think that was maybe being Campo, so that was lucky. As Highlander, so Highlander was in the lead of the race. Something's happened, we've missed that as well. So Dado now finds himself in the lead of the race. I mean, Christopher, sorry. It was Christopher, so he's in pit lane. Oh, that would be a drive-through. So track limits for Christopher. The 3 track limits. I said at the opening that was could be a talking point. The drivers have to be wary of the track limits here. Only 3, and then a 50k speed limit. As looks like Campo's in the tyre barriers at the hairpin. And we got a bagel of cars coming down through, led by Highlander. Zach 18 in 5th. And he's coming under increasing pressure by the AM drivers of Cuckoo, Pete and Commander Jim. Absolutely flying at the moment, this man. He's benefiting from all this battling. Dado Racer's still out in front. Look at Commander Jim. He's looking pretty racy with 10 minutes remaining on the back of Pete S. So if he can keep this going, might see, he's actually on the podium at the moment, second of the AM division. And Scars finds himself still there in fourth position. Zach 18 dropped that position he was in. Actually, no, he's been fifth. He's been trying to get fourth. But here we are, back up in front with Dado through the chicane. Gunner's fighting hard. You can see him bouncing over those curbs. He's got to be careful. Dado is going to be tough to overtake for Gunner. Dado's putting down a fast lap, so the track's starting to grip up. Those cloudy skies have now opened up to these clear sunshine. As we've got quite a couple of drivers there disconnecting. The lobby, they did say, was a little bit unstable. So a couple of people are going to get some very handy points here as drivers are dropping out. Oh, very wide for Dado, and a big moment. That's going to be ending Dado's chances now. He's going to have to find himself in pit lane. And he's going to have to get that car started. It's stored, so Gunner's taken the lead now with a 4-second margin to this man, Highlander. And Scar 666 finds himself up into third position. Can he equal his best into second position? Can he get Highlander? There's time. He's got time on his side. But has he got the pace? Zach 18 leading the train of AM drivers behind him. So we've got the 4 pro drivers in the top 4 position. And then we've got all these AM drivers all the way through, I think, until we pick up Waylon in position 5 and position 10, sorry, who's trying to his battle here on Zachy 3. He's got Captain Oulton behind him as well, doing a great job with fending off Wadey. And after that instance, so Dado's gone from 1st to 13th and probably a visit into pit lane as well. Dado wasn't feeling too well at the start of the racing tonight as well. Suffering a little bit of a cold, bit of a bug. So maybe just a little bit of fatigue set in as well. And he did run wide coming through turn 1 here at the old Hall corner. Ashley goes through with Zachy 3, trying to defend Waylon. They had a little bit of a moment back at, if we can remember, back at Donington at the hairpin at the Melbourne hairpin, where Waylon had a little bit of a tangle with Zachy 3 for position, and maybe could have redressed. And they were in the steward's room about that, and it was all noted that next time, if that did happen, Waylon understands that a redress would be in order. But here we go. Second time around, as Waylon's just on the limit of exiting that outside of the corner of Druids. So easy to do. So he's pushing very hard. Seeing if he can get up the order just that little bit. I don't think he'll find himself. He seems to be, obviously, with that damaged car, he can't do too much with these AM cars at this stage. The Unicorn running on his own with Detective on the comeback drive after the incident at race start. So the Detective's doing a good job there in 16th. And he's about 4 seconds faster than the Unicorn, so he should have him this time around. He's only 2 seconds behind, so you should see Detective make this position fairly easy on the Unicorn. The Unicorn's got a pretty straight car this time around, so he's having a good run. Just a little bit of a mark there on the front left of the bumper, as he understands that Detective's a lot faster than himself, and just was nicely let him through. As Brenny's keeping Pillock's car very nice and clean in race 2. Not much can be said here for this man here, Dado Racer, as he's got a very hurt car there at the moment. As Waylon's been able to get Zachy 3 for position, up into 9th. So what's he got? He's got 3-second margin between him and Ashley. And I don't think he's going to have enough time. There's actually just going past us in shot. Coming out of the hairpin. So I think actually we'll have this position 8 wrapped up okay. But this battle here is still brewing between Cuckoo and Zach 18. Commander Jim's tried to do his best to hold on to the back if he could of Cuckoo, but Pete S has just dropped off on the back of Cuckoo, and Commander Jim's done the same. Tell you what, this will probably elevate Highlander second in the championship. Is in the pro division. Overall, it's going to be tight, but Dado Racer in 13th. He's still not going to score any points overall. It goes down to 12, so Wade is picking up 1 point at this stage. So there's a good chance we could see Highlander actually take second position overall as well in the championship. A good run here from Zach 18. Back into nudging into the podium. He would be happy if he would have been happy to be on that podium, but Scar 666 won't take anything away from him. He's had a tremendous race in 3rd position. Obviously can't be talking about it too soon. There's still 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes, so we've still got 2 laps to go. Maybe only the 1 lap to go. No, there'll be 2 more laps as Gunner's about to cross the start-finish line as we speak now. So there'll be another 2 more laps of this race. But there's still some time for things to happen here as Commander Jim holding a respective 2nd position in the AM division. What a great run from him. You'd be very happy with that. Just got a couple of slow cars there down the back of the start-finish straight. I'm not too sure what's going on there. We've got the Unicorn, which is a little bit weird, him staying there. Don't normally see him there. And Dado Racer still in 14th. Branny. I'm not too sure why the Unicorn's parked there. Maybe he's had to have an emergency off out of the sim rig. You think he would have gone in the pits, but here we go. We've watching Scar 666 on the 2nd last lap as Gunner's going to come down through here to now get on to the final lap. He had his challenge with Waylon, and we did see him drop down the order after Waylon had a problem. He's, you can see the damage that Waylon copped as he's now been able to catch up to the back of Ashley. So he's got the final lap run here to pick up 8th position. So this is a storming drive back through the field after an incident that we just didn't quite catch on camera. When he was running 2nd to Gunner And at that time, Gunner then dropped down the order. We saw Ashley. We seen. We saw not Ashley. Sorry, we saw Christopher. I think take the lead of the race, and he's obviously not in the race at this stage. I'm not too sure what happened to Christopher. He did have a drive-through. But here it is, Gunner. And how's that as a shot as he's passed the man that he was challenging, Dado Raso, who spun out in front of him of turn 1. But it's Dado, it's Gunner who's going to take race 2. Clean sweep here at Oulton Park. Back on the winner's board. And Highlander picks up a very valuable second position. He'll be happy with that. And as is this man, Scar, in 3rd position. So he's had some good outings lately. Zach 18 in 4th position. Well done to him. And Cuckoo, 5th position overall. And 1st in the AM division. Wildcard entry of Pete S in 6th position. Commander Jim will find himself 2nd on the podium for the AM division. And Ashley's just been able to hold off Waylon. And he'll be 3rd position. Oh, he had to retire. So, okay. That's unfortunate, but there's Waylon in 9th, Zaki 3 in 10th. In the 10th position, Wadey in 11th. Captain Lawson gets 1 point in the overall championship there in 12th. Brenny does a good job for Pillock. He'll be happy with that. And there we go. So, Gunner. What a great run he's done with 121.2. It looks like that may have been the fastest lap of the race as well from Gunner in 1st position. But again, Cuckoo taking victory. Can someone stop him in the AM division? He's doing a good job there. And he'll extend his lead in that championship. But Commander Jim with a 2nd position. That's his best result. So congratulations to Commander Jim. He had 4th position at Londrina, so 2 better positions than that on the 2nd. He'll be very happy with that. Ashley in 3rd on the podium as well. So they'll be sharing the spoils with Highlander and Scar for the results there in the podium. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. We're going to have a week's break now until we come back. So we have a week off next week, and then we'll come back for round 5, the penultimate round, the last of our double sprint races before we have that mini Twilight Enduro that we're all looking forward to at the Nürburgring, a 60-minute race. So make sure that you join us in a fortnight's time for round 5. And that will be on the 6th of August. So until then, cheerio.